All right, greetings everybody, and welcome to week number 9. That is right, week number 9 of your Semi 314 class, which is your reference class. As always, I'm your professor, Dr. J.S.K. Alston. And what we are going to be doing today is I'm actually going to try to keep this one a bit on the shorter side. We'll try to keep it at 20 minutes unsped. So, excuse me, less than 20 minutes sped. And the reason for that is because there are going to be a whole bunch of other resources on this in this announcement that I want you all to look at as well. So let's get into this. We're going to have a state of the course update, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the LibGuides, but you're going to you're really going to be looking at the other resources for LibGuides and that sort of thing, so that are going to be in this announcement. And so this video here in particular is going to be a little shorter, but I did want to make a video to check in, let you all know how things are going, and then to also let you know why you're seeing these other things. Okay. All right. So first of all, as far as things that are coming up, again, it is important to know that at the start of April, so next week is spring break, as you all know, next week is spring break. If you're in my business class, the business class, unfortunately, is an 8-week class, will not be observing spring break. I don't know what's going on with Mizzou as far as the calendar, but the calendar did not allow for, the calendar said we had to start the the second 8-week session on March the 17th. And then it gave us 8 weeks, but one of those weeks was the spring break week. So I was like, okay. So yeah, if you're in the business class, don't think about spring break next week because you're going to be with me next week. But if you are in this class, there will be no check-in video next week, and spring break will be next week. Anyway, when we get back from spring break, it will be the first week of April. We actually get back on March 31st, and we will have a sync session. That first week back, we'll be hosting Jamie Livingston, and she will talk about services to the disabled, library services to the disabled. She works with Wolfner Library, and she'll speak on that. And then also you will have a discussion prompt that's going to be due that first week back, okay? But your LibGuide is actually not due until April 20th. So if you are watching this when I upload it on March the 18th, then you've got a little bit over a month to work on that. That does include spring break, but still you got a little bit over a month to do that. And what I want to remind you all, though, of is that the yes, when you're a rookie, when you're a beginner, the LibGuide may take you a long time to do. So it may take you a week or two to actually put this LibGuide together. However, when you are in professional practice, you will be expected to be able to put a LibGuide together in like a day or two. So just be mindful of that. But I'm not expecting you all to do pro level work at this point in your careers. Okay. So yes, that's what's on the horizon. I will be catching up on during spring break. Hopefully I will be catching up with grading. Hopefully I will also be catching up. Well, yeah. Hopefully catching up with grading when it comes to this class, because I know I've got discussion board prompts and Wikipedia edit assignments that have not been graded, and I want to get those graded out for you all. Okay. All right. So that's enough for that. Now I did I mentioned in an earlier announcement. Actually, let me find that announcement. All right, so I mentioned in an earlier announcement that, yeah, LibApps were going to be coming. That was actually at the end of February. So you should already have your LibApps logins, and you should already have the ability to go ahead and start creating your LibGuide. You should have had that actually back in February, okay? So if you are having issues with your LibGuides, your LibApps login or anything of that nature, you need to contact me so that we can get that corrected. But what I want to do is, again, go back into the LibGuide prompt. First of all, I do want to let you all know that you can, if you are worried about your topic and whether or not it's an acceptable topic for the LibGuide, you are welcome to email me or message me and ask me, hey, I was thinking about this topic, can I do such and such? And I know one of you has already done that. I will respond to you. Sorry, I have not responded to you yet, but I will be responding to you. I have not forgotten about you, but other things are going on, as you can imagine. But yes, so the LibGuide assignment, for the most part, I will allow any subject for you to do the LibGuide on, but you do want to make sure that your subject is not too broad or too narrow. So if you're questioning that, that's when you should reach out to me. And another thing that I'll tell you is that the source types are something that you can actually get help on me regarding. So let's say that you did your LibGuide on Edgar Allan Poe, and you saw in the rubric that you had to have a government source, and you're thinking to yourself, what is a government source that would fit for Edgar Allan Poe? If you find yourself in a situation like that, do not hesitate to contact Dr. Jason. We will work and find something. That's what I'm here for. And I do that every single semester. There are quite a few students who say, well, Dr. Jason, I want to do this, but then I need a geographic site, or I need a geographic source, or I need a biographical source, or I need a government source. And how does that fit? How can I have a geographical source on knitting? And they say things like that. And I'm just like, okay, well, we'll figure it out. And when we figure it out, I work with you and you start to expand on, oh, this is a logical link and that sort of thing. So I try to get you all in the mindset of organizing properly. So knowing how to organize a bunch of sources under a specific tab that applies to them all, and then grouping them up into boxes and that sort of thing. And I also try to help you make logical connections between sources so that these sources that you are looking at are sources that kind of fit into the theme or fit into the subject matter that you're looking at. So again, don't hesitate to call me, don't hesitate to contact me with those situations. Okay, and again, I want to just revisit the syllabus. When we talk about the LibGuide, there's a lot going on here. There is a big syllabus, and this is intimidating to people. But I am, again, going to, as I mentioned that first night that we had our sync session that first night, I did mention that there's a little secret to the rubric that I will reveal after you have finished the assignment. Once you finish the assignment, yes, I'll reveal something to you, but just trust that despite this looking like a very intimidating big rubric, this is actually working out in your favor. Trust me that the rubric is gonna, yes, it appears daunting, but this is gonna work out in your favor, and you'll see why after I explain to you the rubric, after you turn things in. But yes, so this is the rubric, and these are the criteria you're being graded on. And you are going to also, I recommend ScreenPal here as far as you are going to have to make a video tutorial and include it in your LibGuide somehow. I recommend that you use ScreenPal to do that, but you've got grades related to your, or prongs related to your video tutorial as well, but you've got format issues, content issues, and so forth and so on. So you're looking at, when it comes to the LibGuide itself, you're looking at contents and format, and then also when it comes to the video, you're going to want to have a polished video and that sort of thing as well. But let's look at some other things that are relevant to this. Oh, yes. First of all, I do want you to be aware that there are, and I hate that this is the case, but there are unstated expectations. Now, again, this LibGuide rubric is going to save you, and you'll see why, again, a bit later. But just know that as daunting as it looks now, it is going to save you, but there are unstated expectations. So one unstated expectation, which is now stated because I'm stating it here, for instance, is I do want your color scheme, if you decide to use color schemes in your LibGuide, to not hinder the readability of the LibGuide. So, and I've done this before. I have made a LibGuide that had like a yellow background, and then I actually had like bronze text. And bronze on yellow is very hard to read. So I would have been, if had that been a LibGuide that I was grading, I would adopt myself for professional appearance points. The LibGuide is professional in appearance and well organized. So what I do recommend you all do is you can just Google, you can go out there, just Google, just find sources that talk about best practices with LibGuides, watch LibGuide tutorials, do all the things, put your librarian hat on and do some investigating and some researching and that sort of thing in order to create a good LibGuide. And some of these other video resources that I've linked up in the announcement will help with that. So a few other things I want to note. First of all, you will see that there is a old check-in video that is included in this announcement from a previous semester. And so you may be thinking to yourself, yo, Dr. Jace, why are you linking up a previous check-in video? Well, the reason for that is that particular check-in video, something magical happened that semester. So prior to that semester, I was doing the check-in videos every semester and everything, but there would be students who would always just be so full of nerves and sending me these very anxious, anxiety-riddled emails and that sort of thing. And just panicking, like this was the biggest endeavor that they'd ever undertaken. Like people were getting really nervous and having a lot of anxiety around the LibGuide assignment prior to me making this video. And then when I made that video in particular that semester, people's nerves got calmed. And so I was like, well, this is what I want. I don't want as many emails. Don't get me wrong. I love to hear from y'all. So don't think that I don't want to hear from you. If you want to, send me a message, do it. But when it comes to I'll admit, I don't want a bunch of emails from you all panicking about something that's not worth panicking about. Again, this LibGuide may seem daunting now, but when you get in professional practice, you'll be creating LibGuides possibly, and you'll be doing it in a day possibly. So it's not as daunting as it seems. But what happened this particular semester after I put in after I put in that LibGuide for that semester, people's nerves were calmed, and I had far fewer people emailing me in distress than I had in previous semesters. The reason why I'm bringing all that up is to say that I started including that particular check-in video in announcements in future classes saying, hey, look at this old check-in video. And the students, a lot of students started doing that, and then those students also didn't have the panics. So what I am doing here is offering you a LibGuide now, offering you a check-in video from a previous semester that calmed students' nerves and has been calming students' nerves for semesters now, and it's going to calm your nerves too. And that's what I want, and that's what you want, so that's what we're going to get, okay? All right, and some other key points that I'm going to make, and these are almost like bullet points at this point, right? So this is going to be a little disjointed, but I'm going to be like, in this point, in this point, in this point. So the next point that I'm going to make is that I do want you all to be familiar with this rubric, okay? I want you all to actually, because there's certain things that just happen every semester. Like every semester, like for instance, this is a perfect example. Please familiarize yourself with this rubric. Every single semester except, actually no, I'm wrong. This did not happen last fall. So fall 2024, this did not happen. But prior to fall 2024, every single semester, I always had at least 2 students who would make, it says here in the rubric, tutorial is edited appropriately, is less than 3 minutes long and looks professional. And every single semester before last semester, I would always have somebody without fail that would do like a 7 or 8 minute video when it says make it less than 3 minutes, clearly right there in the rubric. Now I will say this, you are going to have a little bit of a grace period. So like, yes, it does say less than 3 minutes, but if you put like a 3 minute and 15 second and 3 minute 20-second video together, that's a little bit of a grace period. I'm not going to be that nitpicky. I'm not going to take points off if you're a few seconds over. But once you get to like 3 minutes and 32 seconds, then then it's getting a little egregious, okay? And I know that sounds pretty ironic coming from somebody who makes very long check-in videos, but it is what it is. I'm the instructor. I get to do that. All right, but yes, so make sure you pay attention to the rubric and do everything that the rubric requests. Another point, I actually do want you all to enjoy the LibGuide assignment, so that is part of the reason why I'm letting you pick your own topics and go with the topic that you're going to have fun with, because if you're going to have fun with that topic, then you're going to enjoy this process, and I do want you to enjoy it, because the more you enjoy the LibGuide, the better you're going to do on it. And you can get creative. You can get creative if you want to with color schemes or, art that you include in it and that sort of thing, graphics that you include in it, whatever. But just, again, make sure that you're mindful of the rubric and make sure you're mindful of your audience. So like, for instance, if you are designing a rubric that you intend to be a rubric for 3rd graders, then yeah, you can get really, really creative and you can throw a bunch of cartoons in there and blah, 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 blah. But let's say that you are making a rubric and the rubric is intended to be for a group of religious school students, okay? Well, if it's a LibGuide for a bunch of religious school students, then you're probably not going to have a bunch of profanity in the LibGuide, okay? Now, if you're making a LibGuide about George Carlin, there may be a lot of profanity in that one. So just be aware of your audience, okay? And that goes a long way, and that is also one of the rubric prompts. Another point is that I want you all to be aware that what I do does work, as far as I know that, so I want this to be clear. It's actually almost impossible to get a perfect score, a 25 out of 25 on this. And that is because you are being compared to the professional standard. Like, even though you're students, I am grading you on a professional standard. And then what I do when I evaluate the LibGuide and take away points or give points based on how you did on the LibGuide, I am going to compare your work to how I'm going to basically call you out on your shortcomings that stopped you from being perfect on the LibGuide, that stopped you from being professional on the professional level on the LibGuide. But that feedback that I give, yes, it comes with point deductions, but also it is in place so that you can see, oh, okay, well, if I were a professional, then I would do this. And so, yeah, I made this mistake at the student level. I got penalized for it, but at the professional level, I'm not going to make this mistake because now I am aware of it. And trust me, this method does work. And I know students, when they hear that, they're thinking, oh man, that's so unfair. He's holding us to a professional standard when we're not professionals. And this is just unfair. And again, let me just tell you, this method works. And then once I reveal to you a little bit more about the LibGuide rubric, you will see that this method works. Another point, please be aware that you are not allowed to have somebody make the LibGuide for you, okay? That will be cheating. And you can show, if you've got a coworker or somebody that you know would be able to help you, you can actually show them this video. You are allowed, I repeat, you are allowed to get help making the LibGuide. And quite frankly, in your library career, when you're learning databases and you're learning different things, a lot of times what it's going to be is it's going to be guided instruction. So you'll have like a veteran librarian sitting next to you telling you, okay, this is how you use Business Source Complete. They'll be sitting next to you. They'll say, okay, and if you want to do this, do that. If you want to get this, do that. And so when it comes to the LibGuide, yes, what is important to me is that you learn how to do it, whether you learn how to do it on your own or whether you learn how to do it through some sort of collaborative. Okay, my coworker is walking me through this because my coworker, she knows how to do it and I don't, so she's walking me through. That is totally fine. If a coworker walks you through the process and walks you through creating your LibGuide, as long as you are learning how to do it, that is fine. Because to me, what I want is for you to learn how to do it. It's not about learning how to do it on your own. It's about learning how to do it. Okay, so yes, you can show this to, like, if you know somebody at your job and they just make fantastic LibGuides and you're like, hey, I was wondering if you could walk me through the process of making this LibGuide for my professor. If they say, oh no, that would be cheating, show them this video. And then, or at least this section of the video, and then they'll be like, oh, okay, well, if he says it's cool, it's cool. Now, this one is definitely a pet peeve of mine and something that I do want you all to be mindful of and please avoid. Please do not, I repeat, please do not password protect the access to viewing your LibGuide until after I have graded it. And this is also something that just happens every single semester. I'm in a grading flow. And for those of you, I know a few of you are teachers or were teachers at one point or that sort of thing. And so you understand what I'm saying when I say this. Look, I will get into that grading flow. You know, that grading flow where you're just grading and grading and grading and it's all good. And I'm grading and I'm grading. I'm hitting and I'm hitting and I'm hitting it and getting all these things graded. And then, boop, I get to a LibGuide that is password protected and I haven't graded it yet. And I don't have the password. So now I can't see it. And now that does take me off my rhythm. I hope none of you do that. That is also something, though, that happens once every semester. And that did happen last semester. And whenever that happens, I have to message or email the person and be like, hey, please unprotect your LibGuide so that I can actually look at it, because I can't grade it if I can't look at it. So, and then they'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Jason, and they'll take the password protections off. But that just it lengthens the amount of time that other people are able to get their LibGuides back, and then it also it takes me out of my flow. And then also when I'm in a flow, it also, to be honest with you, when I'm in a flow, it does allow me to grade with a little more compassion and that sort of thing. And so once I'm taken off my flow, then the negative thoughts creep in, and then I'm no longer in the flow. Now I'm getting hyper analytical, and then I might actually grade a little harsher. So be aware of that. Okay. Another key piece that I want to mention, a key point that I want to mention, the LibGuide tends to be one of the most used ePortfolio content pieces for student learning outcome or SLO. Number 4, okay? So if you're thinking about assignments that you want for SLO 4, please only have one from this class. The committee, and I'm on the committee prefers it when we're grading. We do prefer for you to only have one assignment from each, one assignment only, like no more than one assignment for each. How do I make this make sense? Sorry. The committee prefers that for each SLO, you only use an assignment from a particular class one time. So what I mean by that is, for any particular SLO, if you are, excuse me, sorry, I know that rambling didn't help, but for instance, SLO 4. So if you There are 3 assignments in this class, actually 4, that can count for Slow 4. That would be the virtual reference practice, the LibGuide, the Wikipedia edit, or the semester-long project. All of those count for Slow 4. But when we grade Slow 4, we don't want to see 3 assignments from 7314. We only want to see 1 from a particular class for each Slow. Now, there may be classes where you can get like an assignment, like let's say you have 7315 and you have a 7315 assignment in Slow 4 and then a 7315 assignment in Slow 3. That's a different assignment. That is fine. But as far as a particular Slow, please do not have, like, don't have, for Slow 4, don't put your LibGuide and your Wikipedia edit. Put one or the other and then just bounce, keep going. Get your other 2 assignments from 2 other classes, okay? Okay, and so the final thing I want to note is how to turn the LibGuide in, because this also always becomes a question every single semester. I am able to, the fastest way for me to get through on grading these things is to actually have you all go in and to, Ani.
Can I
Okay,
say hi to
all right, my daughter's going to say hi real quick. Say hi, baby.
Hi there.
All right, cutie. Okay. All right, go somewhere so that I can finish this, and then we'll hang
Daddy,
out once. Ani,
Puppy wants to say
Ani,
hi now.
no. Okay, so again, when it comes to submission of this, so when it comes to actually turning the LibGuide in, here's what you need to do. So what you can do is, all right, so when it comes to submitting the LibGuide, what you have to do, you need to be quiet, Ani. When it comes to submitting the LibGuide, here's what you can do. You can, so if you're from here, and cut it out. All right, so when you're ready to submit the assignment, here is what you can do. So if you're here, because people ask me all the time, they're just like, all right, so when you're ready to turn this assignment in, all you will need to do is actually come down here. And, okay, well, that's not what we want here. Hold on. All right, I apologize for all that. That is one of the cons of working from home, is your little ones can absolutely derail everything you were trying to do. She's 4. She doesn't know any better, and I've just got to have patience with her. Okay, so when you are trying to submit the assignment, here's the way to submit your LibGuide. This is the easiest way. It's the way that works best for me, okay? All right, so the best way actually is to just do a web URL submission type or a text submission type, and then just plug in this isn't the real URL, but you could do an imaginary URL, www.libguide.com. If you just type that in and put that there and then hit submit assignment, then what it comes back to me as is a link, and that link would take me right to your LibGuide, and from there I can just grade your LibGuide. All right. Again, I apologize for the interruption there and for that making the video a little longer, but it's just not something I can navigate at this point until she gets a little older. So it just is what it is. I hope that you enjoyed seeing her. I guess people like to see children. Okay, but let me go play with her. I have father duties now to attend to. So I am Dr. Jace, and this LibGuide is something that you should do at a kind of steady pace. Jace pace. I can now go to sleep happy, and I will go do that. Thank you all, and if you have any questions or need any assistance with the LibGuide, just let me know. Ta-ta.